So, hey everybody, welcome to a Brilliant Businesses podcast. My name is Nick Bryant, and I'm here with Chris Yates, who is the CEO of ffx.co.uk. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, thank you.
Very well, thank you. Good to see you. Thank you for inviting me in to talk to you.
That's fine.
It's a real pleasure. So, I first met Chris at a networking meeting. He was doing a presentation on what is a KPI, which, of course, we know is a key performance indicator, but he span it on his head because he's got a big passion for people within his business, and he called it keep people informed, keep people interested, keep people involved, and keep people inspired. That was right, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
And it was a really cool presentation that got me really interested. So we're going to talk about that in a while, but we're going to start off by you telling us your journey, Chris, and how you became the CEO of this great company.
Thank you. Hello, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Getting here started at Sainsbury's. I would join Sainsbury's as a management trainee and worked for about 10 years in the stores, and then did an MBA they sponsored me for.
Okay.
Which gave me a different direction, and I learned a lot more about how a large organisation works, and did functional roles in HR, supply chain and commercial.
Okay.
The latter role I then did, after about 20 years for Sainsbury's, was run the supermarkets in London. And at that stage, I probably had, 30, 40 stores in London. It's telephone numbers, really, because they're big supermarkets. But there was oh crikey, about 7,000 or 8,000 people. We're turning over $500 million turnover, but you're just a small cog in a very, very, very big wheel. Yeah. And I enjoyed it. It was great. Yeah. And then suddenly, this opportunity came up that said, well, I was in my early 40s, and I thought, I can't do this all my life. And then something came up that's go into a more strategic, more operational role as my first directorial role type of role within the for a business called Esporta Health Clubs.
Oh yes, I remember them.
Yeah. And I became the ops director of Esporta Health Clubs. Having had a career lasting 22, 23 years at Sainsbury's, I thought, this is great. This is going to be the next 22, 23 years. And I suddenly realised, back to your KPI thing, informed, inspired, and all that good stuff. I suddenly realised I had a key skill for turning things or performance improvements really quickly. Okay. And we were, as a business that wanted to be sold, it was private equity backed, and I was able to go and take an underperforming part of that health club chain of about, 25 clubs, I suppose, based around the UK. Nothing to do with food, clearly, but it's all about people.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it was about actually customers are people as well, and there's high interaction with customers in a health club, as you can imagine. Got it turned around, and 9 months later it was sold. And suddenly I was thinking, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? I then started a business when people remember Phones for You.
Oh, right, okay.
And I was the MD of Phones for You. Did that for about 2.5 years.
Wow.
And then a mate of mine who I'd worked with at Esporta said, this business called Jessup's, this camera business? And I said, oh, yeah. Well, I'm putting a board team together. Yeah. I need somebody that's a good operational leader of people to run all our operations and be the ops director.
Wow.
And be my number two. And I said, all right, Trevor, what's this all about then? And again, it was a business that was in a spot of bother at the time. And I was, because of the classic training I had in Sainsbury's, I was able to work things out into sort of 3 or 4 key constituents, one being customers, one being people, one being how the business operates, and the last one is actually when you all gel that together, it sort of creates if you can keep it in harmony, you'll get results.
Yeah.
So keeping people informed and inspired and all those sort of things came out. Yeah. And actually what I realised is that so many team members and colleagues just need to understand how they can get on, how they can contribute, feel as though it's personable how you do it. Yeah. And ironically, if you can make sure that you keep your clarity of view of what you want to do, it'll work. Yeah. And that's what happened. And then I suddenly realised, excuse me a minute, I enjoyed that a lot, but suddenly realised that this CEO gig isn't all that hard, really. Because I'm sat on a board and I can see the CEO and the chairman. I'm thinking to myself, now I'm 50 now, so it's only about 6 or 7 years since I left Sainsbury's. And I suddenly thought, well, this CEO gig is just like a big shopkeeper's job. You're just in charge of something.
You make it sound so easy.
Well, it's ironic. It's true. Yeah. And then out of the blue, a recruiter whom I've known for a long time said, I've got a job It's on the other side of the world. And it's in fashion retailing, based in Melbourne. How do you fancy going to be the sort of the alternative candidate? Because we're recruiting or presenting to candidates to the customer. To the customer who was a business called Brett Blundy Retail Capital owned a business called Lavisa, and there's Lavisas in the UK now.
Okay.
It's a bit like Claire's Accessories.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Well, all right then. So I'm the sort of uncharted, nothing to do with fashion. I had lots of interviews with these guys in Australia, and I think this whole theory about, not even a theory, practical application, if you work well with colleagues, you can be surprised how much you can achieve, right?
Yeah. And you can do that and drop that in any business.
Well, theoretically, the theory goes, as long as you understand what's going on and you can understand the process of how things work, then actually the way things work is people.
Yeah.
Because actually, it's just quite interesting to watch. If you've got to be an inquiring mind.
Right. Yeah.
And you've got to be prepared to not understand and keep asking those silly questions like how and why. So I had my interview in Australia. So I had to go out to Melbourne for my interview. I mean, it was a long story. I could make it a laugh and sounds a bit trivial. But I went out on a Monday night.
Yeah.
I got there Wednesday morning.
Right.
My interview was at lunchtime on Wednesday. And I expected, I'm going to become the CEO, hopefully, and there's going to be a cab to meet me and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing. Landed at Melbourne, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, I know what this is about. This is a test. Can I find my hotel in Melbourne, and can I get ready for this first meeting with the existing chairman of the business and work it all out?
Yeah.
So I phoned him up at about 6:30 in the morning, and I can't do an Australian drawl very well, but I said, hi Shane, how you doing, mate? He goes, where are you? He said. I said, I'm on a cab. I'm working it all out. I'll see you. And actually, what it happened was I went and visited the shops with him and met all these wonderful Australian people and had a bit of fun with people.
Yeah.
Told him why I was here. And he said to me, I got back and there's lots of little stories about it. And he said, it's yours. It's going to be yours.
Straight away.
Yeah. I said, well, we've got to go and meet Brett next, who's the investor. He said, yeah, it's fine. You go meet Brett. Met Brett in Sydney.
Easiest job interview ever, right?
It was quite easy because they made you feel comfortable.
Right. Okay.
And just if you're comfortable,
Yeah.
you just unravel, don't you?
Yeah.
It's either positive unraveling or it's, oh my God, this bloke's a disaster.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And went to Australia and we had a business that was 18% down like for like. Now these are 180 stores based in South Africa, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, and New Zealand.
Right, big operation.
Huge operation. And I remember my first ever board meeting, and it was quite challenging. And, they challenge you really hard at what you're going to do. And I remember Brett, who was the investor, said, in his nice Australian drawl, because he used to call me Pommy, what's worrying you?
Yeah.
I said, well, Brett, we're going to open these stores in South Africa, and I'm just getting my head around Australia. I've only been here 10 days. And he says, it's no problem, mate. He said, he turned to Shane and said to Shane, can Chris be in Johannesburg on Monday? This was Thursday in Sydney.
Okay.
And Shane said, yeah, of course he can. So I meet Brett in Johannesburg. We go to a shopping centre. And he said, right, what's the problem with this shopping centre then? So we walked around the shopping centre and I said what I thought.
Yeah.
He said, where should we open a store? So I said, I thought we should open a store. He said, right, we're on a plane now. We're done South Africa. We're going to go now to fly to Singapore.
Do the same thing, I
Do
guess.
the same thing. We're about to open a whole 10 or 15 shops in Singapore.
Wow.
So we went into this shopping centre. It was called Wisma, of all places, WSMA, Wisma.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's like, where am I? I've got a clue what's going on.
Yeah.
He said, where should we open a store? And we went around the shopping centre, we talked and had all that sort of stuff. I said, I think that's a good idea, that one there. He said, well, that's good, because we just bought the one over there. And actually...
You gelled so much then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's ironic. It came back because I missed my family. So by that stage, Matthew and Charlotte were going to come out with us, but they preferred England. And I think we went back, and it's big. I think if I'd gone it 10 years ago, I'd never come back.
Yeah.
And done a variety of jobs in the same sort of vein as we're doing with Jessop's. Did a very big turnaround business called Kiddie Care.
Yeah.
It got Deal of the Year in 2015 for what we achieved. So that was pretty cool.
So do you see yourself as someone who goes in and turns things around?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it basically boils down to.
Yeah.
And now this one isn't a turnaround. This is a growth.
Yeah.
So this is transpired. So I led a team to do a management buyout of a business you'll remember called Staples.
Yeah.
We rebranded it to Office Outlet. And in 2019, there was a catastrophic financial problem, not with us, but with a supplier, with another business. And it caused us a real problem. So we turned this thing from, about 20 odd million loss making to just break even in 2 years. Excuse me. And
wow.
The financial problem we got was all our credit was withheld.
Oh, right.
So you can't trade.
No.
So I was the tender age of 57. I thought, right, I've done this for too long now. And I said, I'm going to retire. So I bought a camper van.
Did you?
Grew a beard.
Yeah.
And I'd actually given up.
Yeah.
And then a recruitment team said, we found this really great business called ffx.co.uk.
Yeah.
And they said, they're looking for a potential CEO of the future. I'm not interested. I've retired.
Been there, done it.
I'm over.
Yeah.
They came back 3 months or 4 months later and said, now, remember we talked to you about FFX? And I said, what you really mean is you haven't found anybody.
Yeah, they've come to you as a last resort. That's wrong.
And he said, and he knew, and he laughed. He
Yeah.
said, yeah, you're right. Well, all the candidates that had gone forward have failed. I met Patrick, who was then CEO and a significant investor in the business, who's still here as the deputy chairman.
Okay.
We got on like a house on fire. Suddenly realised, actually, this could be quite good fun. And really, I wasn't ready to retire at 57 either.
No.
So
What would you have done?
Well, I'd have got a longer hair,
Grown a bigger beard.
grown a really big beard, bought a bigger camper van, and actually been bored.
Yeah.
Because one of the things really I love doing is being with people.
Yeah, sounds it. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it, really.
Yeah.
And so here we are. We're a business now. We went through COVID. COVID was a challenge for everybody, as we know. We were able to hold on to all the volume we grew. So we were a £50 million business in 2019. And by the time we got to the end of 2020, our run rate was 110.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was fairly significant. We held on to it in 21 and in 22. We have a plan this year to do 105. We'll probably make we'll do 105, 106 million, I should think. The market's really hard right now.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. You've got cost of living. You've got first-time buyers are drying up.
Yeah.
Nobody's building houses. We supply power tools to contractors, basically.
Yeah.
So the market is hard.
Tough.
But can we change the market? No. Can we inspire our people more? Yes. Can we keep them informed? Yes. Can we keep them interested in what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yes. Can we give them a good career? Yes.
Yeah.
Can we develop them more to be better? Yes. If we invest in people and invest in what we do, when the turnaround comes round, because it will come, we'll have the best people driven to succeed, the best internal processes, and hopefully take the lead, take the win when it comes.
Yeah.
But right now it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah. But that's great though. You're fighting the storm, but when it comes back, you're ready, and you're ready there to go.
Yeah.
How many staff are there?
230.
Right, in this building, all across.
So we've got about 60 in here.
Yeah.
And we've got about 150, 160 up the road in the depot.
Yeah.
Which I can show you afterwards if you want.
I'd love to. Yeah. And you've got more than one site though, haven't you? Is there?
So we have a couple of shops.
Yeah.
One in Folkestone, one in Ashford.
Right. Okay.
And then we have 2 or 3 really big operations. We have an eBay account.
Okay.
So we're the biggest reseller of power tools on eBay in the UK.
Wow. Okay.
And then we have an ffx.co.uk site, which is our own branded website.
Yeah.
And then we have a wholesale business and then a direct sales business as well.
Okay.
So a direct sales people will sell to contractors on site.
Right. Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
eBay tends to sell product to keen DIY people. And then ffx.co.uk is probably pure. Now, everybody's a customer, so you could call it a B2C. We sell product to subcontractors and self-employed tradespeople.
Yeah.
Be they carpenters, electricians, plasterers, plumbers,
They
builders.
don't need a label, do they? They're customers, really.
They're just customers.
B2C, B2B.
It's all customers.
Yeah.
And this business is quite interesting in that this sector thinks it's B2B, but it's really a B2C operation.
Yeah.
That's what we operate like.
Yeah. I think the angle that you take with people, which is the most important part of the business, pretty much, is from what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
You read a book, or you mentioned this in your presentation about Stephen Covey,
That's
Seven
right.
Habits.
Yeah.
So that inspired you, or did you learn a lot from that? Would you recommend that?
I'm lucky the things I read resonate the way I think.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't really understand what I think.
Okay.
And then you read a book like Stephen Covey. That's how.
And that sort of solidifies.
Oh, right, got it now.
Okay.
And I'm very a transactional person. It's a yes or a no. Do I get it? No. Well, what does it mean? And
yeah.
And so Covey was for the reader to listen. I don't want to bore you with the book, right?
No.
I'd advise you to read it, and it just talks about the seven or so things that successful people or people that are contented and happy in their lives tend to do.
Right. Yeah.
More often than others.
Yeah.
And the two or three things I always think of in my mind. One is start with the end in mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Where do you want to be?
Yeah.
And that theoretically then determines how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
And the other one is another one called sharpen your saw.
Okay.
And now sharpening your saw is you're constantly trying to either improve yourself every day or improve what you do every day or improve and help your people every day.
Okay. Yeah.
So every day is better than the day before,
Yeah.
theoretically. And that's a bit too simple, right? Because we all have crap days.
Yeah. That's hard to just keep doing that.
But
Isn't it?
if you turn around and see the wall on there,
Yeah.
that's all our colleagues of the year.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
This is the boardroom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So in the boardroom are all our colleagues of the year.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Why wouldn't you have them in here?
But not many boardrooms do.
No, right. Yeah, it's quite stuffy boardrooms that come across that way.
Yeah, it's just it's not stuffy. It's
Stuffy's not the right word. No.
What's the word?
Maybe.
Board meetings are a meeting that's always, I don't know, challenge is the wrong word, but you're always going to be put under the pump to make sure that what you're doing, even if the business isn't performing or is overperforming, the board meetings where the investors check out you're on your game.
Yeah.
And they sit in here.
Yeah.
But I tend to sit on that side of the table.
Okay.
And then we make sure it just happens by default. They sit over here or over there.
Yeah.
But the other one there is about customers.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So without customers and without colleagues,
You haven't got anything, have you?
you haven't.
No.
Nothing.
When you talk about sharpening the sword, what is there things that you do on a daily basis to make your boat go faster, or do you do health and fitness?
Yes.
Is that important to you?
It's ironic. Everybody talks about the endorphins you get when you go to the gym.
Yes. Yeah.
And sometimes I go to the gym Monday and Friday mornings.
Okay.
Like I go cycling with a bunch of blokes on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
And I probably cycle
Rain or shine.
Yeah, rain or shine.
Yeah. Okay.
Tonight I'm not because I go on holiday tomorrow.
Okay.
And that's our own version of a man shed. So there's 15 of us
Right.
from different starts of life that come together every Thursday night
Yeah.
for a 2-hour bike ride. And we go to the pub and it's called the Thursday Night Pie Club. And the Thursday Night Pie Club is we always go to the pub and have pie and chips.
Excellent. Yeah. That's therapeutic, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And it takes your mind off of things because you're concentrating on that.
Yeah.
And the health and fitness does that, doesn't it? You're concentrating on whatever you're doing with your body, whether it's your legs, whether it's your arms or your feet. You're concentrating on that. So therefore, if you have got anything in your mind, that goes elsewhere. Yeah.
And I'm lucky I've got a good bunch of mates that I've been at since uni.
Yeah.
So we go away on holiday every year for a week, racing a boat.
Yeah.
So we go racing and it's sailing.
Yeah.
And we race and we're still trying to do what we did when we were 20.
Well, why not?
And we try, and we probably catastrophically fail most of the time. And almost in that world, you talk about the things that keep you grounded. In my world, I've got good friends. I've got a fab family.
Yeah.
And I try to look after myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm carrying a pound or two. I'm probably carrying about 7 or 8 pounds too much right now, but that's just hard work, right?
Yeah.
I'm still.
Well, we're not young men anymore.
Exactly. We're exactly.
So I'll just keep it off.
Yeah, and in staying fit and healthy, when you're healthy, you know when you're not.
You feel good, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
The
You do
mornings
the
are
same?
easy. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I like to run, and I do just started going to the gym. But running's a big thing for me because, as I said, it takes my mind concentrating on my feet, on my legs, and everything else. If there is a problem, gets left aside, and that's because it's all in the mind, isn't it? Most of it, I think, a lot of it's in the mind.
Oh, it's
9%.
I would say my wife says to me, she says, "You're really lucky you don't. I am lucky I don't get worried about things."
Yeah.
But in the COVID thing, you never leave a stone unturned, right? You don't stop till you stop. So I never leave anything today for tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
The only thing I leave till the very last minute is my board report because I'm dyslexic and doing me and letters are just like a nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got 2 degrees, but that's in the story. But so that's probably the only thing I do leave. But everything else, it's ironic. So many people leave things to the last minute.
Yeah.
So it's unplanned, it's unstructured. You haven't given yourself thinking time.
Okay. Yeah.
I come in here 3 times a week. I have 2 days a week at home. Hybrid working for us here. We were quite naive, like everybody else was, about working from home.
Yeah.
Does it work? Not work?
Yeah.
I actually think it's a bit about trust, and it's ironic, isn't it? You think you've got them all in the office; they're working hard. Without wanting to be too coarse, that's bollocks.
Yeah. You can't overlook their shoulder all the time, can you?
We can't,
No.
then that becomes a comfort blanket for people. So you're at home working, fine, crack on.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as the results are there, I guess.
It's just and even if the results aren't there, is that because they're not in office? We recently recruiting a senior guy to come and join us. Good, very senior.
Yeah.
And in his contract, it said the other one is trust. Really, it said in his contract, his trust is both ways, right? It can be broken both ways, as we all know,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And he said, I'm not comfortable about this line in the contract where it says you can work from home, but the business will decide if there is a need, you will be in. You know, you work to the needs of the business, basically. Well, his previous job, that clause is there, and overnight they had everybody on hybrid working.
Yeah.
Somebody, probably the CEO, thought it doesn't work anymore, so it cancelled everybody's hybrid. Everybody's got to work in the office.
No way. No. That's not good people management, is it?
Well, he's not really, no, but he just thought he was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I said, well, no, it's not going to happen. I said, first of all, if we need you, we will be, but you are responsible for delivering what you're to deliver.
Yeah.
I can't micromanage you. I won't.
No.
I won't tell you when you've got to do things. If you don't understand what we want to try and achieve, that's fine. But how to do your job is how you to do your job. Are you good at what you do? And he goes, well, yeah. Well, what's the problem then?
And he respected that, surely.
Well, yeah. I won't let him off the hook.
No.
Either way.
No. Now, you won CEO of the Year
Yeah.
by the Business Magazine.
That's right.
Yep. Well, was that 2022?
Yep.
And is that voted by the people? How's that work?
It was done. Somehow my nomination got in.
Yeah.
And the guys at that magazine got in touch. They said, no, I'm not interested.
Did you? Yeah.
I said, no, I'm not into. No.
Yeah.
I'm not into this.
Ego.
No, it's
egotistic.
not.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not for me.
Yeah.
And they said, oh no, please consider it. Well, tell me why. And so she basically said, what we've heard about is ffx.co.uk and all the rest of it. All the story you've just heard, you've heard that. They've heard the story, how it's grown. Would you be interested going forward? So there's nothing in it for you. It's just us finding out. It's a bit like what you do. You're finding out what businesses do in the local areas and what everybody gets up to.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, what's the process? He said, well, you're going to be interviewed or meet Zeus Capital. Zeus Capital are sponsoring this event. That's fine. And they're also going to involve the Sunday Times. Okay. They're also going to involve, the shoe cobbler's business, Timpson's.
Yep.
Well, James Timpson's taken over from his dad.
Ah, yeah.
So there's 3 or 4, in essence, judges.
Yeah.
And once they've judged it, then you'll either get nominated or not.
Okay.
Fair enough. Chill out then.
Yeah.
So Paul McGlone from Zeus Capital got on the phone. We had a chat and deal with that stuff. He then said, I'd like to meet James Timpson. I said, well, COVID, lockdown. He said, fine, he'll phone you.
Right.
So I had a chat with James Timpson. That went all right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know he did. No idea. I said, I'd chat and how do you do your job? I told him what I do, what he does. I mean, he's quite inspirational.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any interesting things he does and what they do and what their culture is and what they do. That was quite interesting. Then this guy called Richard from the Sunday Times got in touch and we had a chat with Richard. And there was an article down in the paper, actually. It went to the Sunday Times.
Excellent.
And then Zeus Capital said, well, we now want to do a podcast. And we'll do a podcast in as well. So we did his podcast, did all that. And then his podcast was put up on LinkedIn. And of their podcasts they've ever done, at the highest hits ever.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that's how they came to their
And then off the back of all of that, they've had Timpson, Sunday Times, Zeus Capital, and
So they've used you to make their magazine better, basically.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. If it, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Yeah, it's not a bad title to have, It's a good.
It's always lucky. In life, sometimes just things happen. You're just lucky. So just have it and move on.
That's it. Yeah. So, what does the future hold for you and the business? Where what you said earlier, you're just sort of going to ride the storm until you get to when it picks up again, and then you can fly. But what about you, Chris? What are you going to do?
Don't know.
Take as it comes.
Take as it comes.
Yeah.
I shall work as long as I want to work. I think we will be here. I'll be here for the next 2 or 3 years, I should think. I think it depends how long all things work out.
Yeah, sure.
It's also the investors, how long they want me to stay. I mean, I'm quite chilled out about it. Like we all have a sell-by date.
Of course, yeah.
But no, I think what I would like this to become, or it is becoming, is a better version of itself than it is already.
Yeah.
So there's 2 things where I measure that. When I joined, we had 32,000 Trustpilot reviews.
Right.
We've now got 90,000 reviews.
Wow, okay.
So that's a lot of advocacy.
Yeah.
It would be great that if we can get that to 120, 130,000 reviews, which is a good place to be. We're going through a big investment program automating a warehouse.
Okay.
To try and make it more efficient. So the way to ride a storm is to grow your market share, but try and become more efficient at what you do.
Yep.
And then open are there other channels to market where we don't sell to customers. Now that's not more stores, but we'll probably look at Amazon, but not as a supplier to Amazon, but trading on Amazon in our own right.
Okay. Yeah.
It is more expensive because the fees are high.
Yeah.
But the customer on Amazon will be prepared to pay that fee. If they don't want to pay the fee, that's fine. But it's about reaching more customers because we are really a southern-based business in Kent.
Yeah. Do you supply global though?
No,
it's just UK.
No, it's just UK. We do a little bit of wholesale business into Europe.
Okay.
But the irony of it is, everybody may have some grand designs of growing your customer base, but you have to ensure that you can deliver it in time.
Yeah.
Now, we have got the best service proposition in the country. So you can shop with us at 10 o'clock any day of the week up to 10 p.m. and get it tomorrow.
Oh, wow. That's valuable, yeah.
Yeah, very valuable.
Yeah.
Because obviously our customers will come off a job at 5 o'clock.
Of course, yeah.
And then they'll think, I'll have a cup of tea or my dinner, go to the pub, have a pint.
Yeah.
And then
you need to order a new drill.
I need something else.
Yeah.
Or something's broken, or my job's changed tomorrow. Well, they're both cash and time poor. So cash poor, they tend to work, they get paid when the job's finished, they're self-employed.
Yeah.
Time poor is they haven't got any time. Their job time is the job time. So if they're on a job, they won't be looking at buying tools and stuff.
No.
They can only do that when they finish the job.
Yeah.
So they're time poor. So we make sure our shop is still open when they want to shop.
Yeah.
And our busiest time of the day, you wouldn't believe this, is at 9 o'clock at night. 9 till 10 is our busiest hour of the day.
Well, that's just because of what you just said, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's knowing your market, isn't it?
That's it, know your customers. So the question you raised is, where does it want to be? A better version of itself.
Yeah.
Because of what we're doing in it currently. The team more prepared for the future.
Yeah.
So we've worked all last year with businesses called interactive workshops.
Okay.
Interactive workshops do workshops, obviously.
Yep.
But it's about leadership and personal behavioural improvements.
Right.
So similar to Covey, they analyse how to become successful as a leader, and we've put 55 people through that last year.
Okay. So investing in people, isn't it? Really?
All the time.
Yeah.
And you do it again, and they all, the first time they'd been done in about 2 or 3 years, and previous development programs they've been through were the classroom.
Yeah.
Very do this, do that, do this, and do the other. And the way the interactive are done, I said, well, a bit like your question, where do you want to be?
Yeah.
How do you want to lead? Who do you want to lead? So my question is a better version of the company. For myself, I'll wait and find out. There's 2 things really that I like to be involved with. I like to create value through people.
Yeah.
And so long as I believe we're creating value through people that then delivers value for the company, then that's quite an exciting future. Often you don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
If I go back, crikey, to 2006 when I left Sainsbury's, would I have thought 16 years, 17 years later, I'd be sat here in Folkestone, having running a great power tool online business? Then probably no.
Yeah.
So I think if we could forecast the future, what I'd like it to be is probably a non-exec role next.
Okay.
Probably supporting management teams and coaching teams how to get the best out of people. Because ironically, we can always forget the human interaction piece as the bit that makes the real difference.
Yeah.
Because you've got great people doing great things that what the customer needs, you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
And often I'm lucky really,
Yeah.
because I was taught that from a very early age.
Yeah.
Learn how it works, learn what makes your people work for it, keep them excited, informed, inspired.
Yeah.
But all in all, if you keep them informed of where you're going and why you're doing it, then they'll work it out.
Yeah, that's good. That's great advice. Thank you.
Right.
Well, Chris, thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Pleasure.
It's been a real pleasure to talk to you. I've learned a lot from you. And
Thank you.
And if anyone wants to talk to Chris, then
yes.
he's very open.
Yeah. But by the way, my mobile number, 0790 911 3637.
Yeah.
And my personal email account is chrispyates.cy@gmail.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all for another podcast soon. Thank you.
Look forward to it.